process that we're coming to the end on. And I have seen what their intentions are. I've seen what their motivations, what their objectives, and it always comes back to one thing, and that is serving the citizens of this community. And it really has created teamwork. And I really want to express my appreciation to Commissioner Harvey and Commissioner Jenkins for that. It's made it extremely enjoyable.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Public comments. Are there any from the public that would like to address the commission today? None being recognized, we'll move to item F, or the consent items on our agenda. The first one is a request for approval of warrants 1572 to 1584 and 433-133 to 433-367 in the amount of $3,112,103.77. Item 2 is a request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $38,419.52. Item 3 is a request for approval of minutes for the meeting held on October 10th and October 16th, 2018. Just a correction on that. I think that's October 9th and October 16th, not 10th, if we're lining up Tuesdays.
It was a work session. It was a
the work session meeting. Thank you for the correction. Appreciate it. So it is the 10th and the 16th. Thank you. Item 4 is a request for approval to set the date of October 30th, 2018 at 10 a.m. for a public hearing regarding amendments to the opening of the capital budget, Weber County, for the 2018 calendar year. Item number 5 is a request from the engineering department for approval to surplus temporary fencing. Item 6 is a request for approval of a retirement agreement by and between Weber County and Chad Allen. Item 7 is a request for approval of new trainee agreements by and between Weber County for the following individuals: Trista Speaker, Connor Johnson, and Trevor LeBaron. Commissioners, any questions about the consent items?
I do have some questions. I called Ricky and asked him earlier, and he's answered all my questions except one, and I think he's ready to answer that one.
Yes, your question was about the $110,000 check that goes to Ogden City Fire.
Right.
And that is part of our monthly paramedic service. We contract with 3 entities to provide paramedic services throughout the county: Roy City Fire, Weber Fire, and Ogden City Fire. So this is the amount that we've been paying them. We recently added Weber Fire recently within the past couple of years.
Okay, so I had a conversation with Commissioner Ebert today about this, and we collect those services, that money from the taxes, and then we distribute it.
That's correct.
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that very much. You're good to work with.
Thanks. Mr. Chair, do you want me to go over the details?
Please.
Thank you. We issued 10 purchase orders this week for $38,000. 43% of that amount, or $17,000, is for human resources, and that is for Skillsoft compliance training. All the other purchase orders were under $10,000 and were spread fairly evenly. As far as warrants, we issued 248 checks this week for $3.1 million. Just under a third of that, or $919,000, was for the transfer station. This is about half disposal fees and half our annual leasing payment for equipment. It's 9 pieces of equipment that we're paying leases on. 23% of that amount, or $729,000, is for employee health and dental insurance. And then 2 items at 6%. That's the paramedic monthly payment, which is $191,000, and that $110,000 to Ogden City is included in that, and $177,000 to Weber Human Services. That's the monthly contribution there. Finally, 5%, or $160,000, was for the jail, and that was to pay for food as well as services for the consulting firm that helped us with the U.S. Marshals contracts.
Thank you, Ricky. Commissioners, does Ricky's explanation have warrant any other questions from you? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
The only thing I was going to say really quickly is just as a reminder, the transfer station is an enterprise fund. So even though we may have an outlay, we'll have revenues that come in.
Correct.
It has to be zero balance at the end of
That's right.
Great. Anything else from you, Chair, other than a recommendation to adopt or approve of these consent items?
Have a motion?
Second?
A second to approve the consent items as listed in red. Call for the vote, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, that carries unanimously. Our action items today, item G on our agenda, number 1, is by Ms. Stephanie Ebert. It's a request for approval of a modification of an interlocal agreement, number 81-00-0014, by and between Weber County and the U.S. Marshal Service for detention and transportation of U.S. Marshal inmates. Ms. Ebert,
Good morning.
good morning.
As you're aware, we house.
Hold on, I got a
Yes, sir.
training thing going on. When they say good morning, what do we say?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
We usually do that in the south more than
Okay.
we do it up here. in the
We're
north.
south of the North Pole, we're good.
Okay.
Please.
Are you ready?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we house inmates for the U.S. Marshal Service. And in 2013, we renegotiated our current contract that we have with them. And it was a 5-year agreement. And so I am here today to request an approval for the modification of this agreement to increase our rate from $65 a day to $78 a day per inmate.
That is awesome. I know that you've gone to a lot of work by and between this. This is wonderful. What will that mean to our budget or for reimbursement?
So we've been averaging around 180 inmates. Sometimes that dips a little bit lower. Just based on 170 inmates, that will net an increase of about $800,000 to our annual budget, which is about $4,700 per inmate per year. So that's a great change in our contract rate. So
That's fantastic. More fairly reimburses Weaver County for the housing of those inmates.
correct.
Very good, commissioners. Questions or statements or comments?
Only the statement that I'll make is that I know that Ms. Ebert worked with Scott Park in putting these numbers together and really started the genesis of really implementing this cost allocation model. We had to come up with a cost allocation to come up with the justification for the $78, and now we're going to use that cost allocation across the county to better assess what each department and or office or service we provide actually costs. And so again, all these different components within the sheriff's office and the county working together to actually become a little more efficient, I think it really shows the work that's being done. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other questions. I'll entertain a motion for this intergovernmental agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you
Thank you.
again. Item number 2 on our agenda is by Mr. Olson. It's a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Admiral Beverage Corporation, Pepsi Cola Bottling of Ogden, for exclusive pouring rights at the Golden Spike Event Center, Weber County Fairgrounds. It's a 10-year agreement. Mr. Olson, if you would, please.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm excited to be here to present this one. We have gone back and forth with the whole bid process. We've gone through the rounds with the attorneys, making sure that we were both satisfied with this agreement. And we're really excited because Admiral Beverage was the only person that bid on our pour rights. And they were very optimistic about our future and what we have going on at the Golden Spike. And so we're really excited to have an agreement with them. We're really proud of the relationship that we've had so far and look forward to the future.
Terrific. Thank you. Commissioners, questions?
I do. 10-year agreement, that's a pretty long agreement. Did we get bonused anything for an agreement that long?
Yes, we are going to be compensated very fairly. Roughly, it turns out to be about $22,000 a year over the 10 years. So each year we get about $22,000, as well as the savings that we'll get in different pricing, as well as not as steep a goals to hit to meet our side of the agreement.
Okay. Just as a reference of explanation, having been there, is the first agreement done with this facility was back, I believe, in 1988 with Coca-Cola of Ogden. During the Bende era, that was a 20-year agreement. We did, after that, we did the the next agreement with Swire Coca-Cola for 10 years, and I don't believe they were notified, but I don't believe Swire put in a bid this time.
They did not, to my
So we know, and I appreciate Rick Danger and the others from Admiral Beverage not only recognizing this, but I know that this has been the prize that Pepsi has had for decades, at least 3 of them now, to be there, and it looks like they've put that in the form of this offer, or this contract, and so exclusive pour rights are not anything, it's not a new concept for facilities of our size and magnitude. It looks very fair based on what I've seen and realized, and I appreciate you and your team, both Jennifer and Marty, doing a great job on this, and also Admiral Beverage, not just for what their product is, but for the service. They've really shined through, so this is great.
correct.
Commissioners, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So I'm super excited. Under considerations was what we talked about, and I just want to commend you for this because I know that you went through this whole process, realized what Admiral Beverage was willing to do. 1, 2, Mountain Dew, thank you very much. But $20,000 for marketing, which as you referenced, was payable to the customer specifically for marketing for the Golden Spike, $1,000 specifically for marketing for the disc golf course at Fort Bend Ventura, and then $500 increment twice for additional marketing. Amazing. And then it's also built into the contract that if sales go up 25%, then they can renew this for additional marketing dollars. So if you have this growth, you built into that they'll actually give you more assistance in marketing. So it's a tremendous contract. Again, Mountain Dew. But the foresight to get some marketing dollars to help them, to help you market your facility was just very admirable, and I want to say thank you for doing that.
Thank you. We worked really hard in the initial stage of selling our future, selling the next 5 to 10 years, and showing how many events. I mean, we're well over 450, close to 500 events for the year already, and they were really excited to be a part of that journey with us.
One of the things I've seen them build into contracts before, and I can't remember if that's you that I talked to, is many times larger corporations have an advanced marketing. And if you can take those dollars and do it within their marketing, you will probably be able to stretch those dollars even further because of the
Correct.
tremendous marketing that Pepsi has. So thank you.
So during the fair, does this limit the people who contract with us to display and vend there? Does this limit them also?
Yeah, so they'll end up falling under our pour rights, and they'll buy from our Admiral Beverage partner instead of
All right, good deal.
previous.
Yeah, it's a really good deal.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Great, we have a motion and a second. I'll just throw in one more thing, that there was in detail, comprehensive analysis done on whether we should have pour rights or not, and this is a much better deal for Weber County and the taxpayers and the Golden Spike events.
It's true.
So with the motion and a second, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Olson.
Duncan, would you let Mr. Danger know we appreciate his commitment to the community? Absolutely. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, item H on our agenda is not for Hanson, but it's for commissioners' comments. Are there either of you would like to make any comments? Not being heard.
I'm
I'll entertain a
speechless.
motion for item I.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Wait, gavel protocol. We're adjourned.